Welcome to the Channel Error Coins Hub. Most people spend this coin every day without realizing it could buy a mansion. I'm talking about a quarter so ordinary that you might toss it into a vending machine without a second thought. But what if I told you that somewhere out there, a 1997 Washington quarter is hiding a secret so valuable that collectors would pay $51 million to get their hands on it? That's right, $51 million. For a single quarter that looks almost identical to the billions of others minted that same year. The year was 1997, a time when the world was changing rapidly, technology was exploding, and at the Philadelphia Mint, something extraordinary may have happened, something so subtle that it went unnoticed for years, decades even, until a sharp-eyed collector spotted what everyone else had missed. This isn't just a story about a coin. This is a story about how fortune hides in plain sight, about how the universe sometimes places unimaginable wealth into the hands of ordinary people doing ordinary things, like reaching into a pocket for change to buy a coffee, or cleaning out an old dresser drawer, or inheriting a jar of coins from a grandparent who never knew what they really had. The 1997 Washington quarter was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, and like most quarters from that era, hundreds of millions were struck, sent out into circulation, spent, saved, lost, and forgotten. But here's where it gets interesting. In the world of error coins, the most valuable pieces are often the ones with the smallest, most imperceptible flaws, the kind of flaws that require magnification, expertise, and a trained eye to detect. And that's exactly what makes this coin so dangerous to overlook. Because while most 1997 quarters are worth exactly 25 cents, there exists a variant, a mistake, a minting anomaly so rare that its very existence is debated among experts, yet so potentially valuable that serious collectors have been hunting for it since the rumors first began circulating in elite numismatic circles. Let me paint you a picture of 1997. The world was different then. The internet was just beginning to change how we lived. Cell phones were still bulky bricks. And at the Philadelphia Mint, the presses were running day and night, stamping out millions upon millions of quarters, each one supposed to be perfect, each one supposed to carry the familiar profile of George Washington on the obverse and the majestic eagle on the reverse. But machines make mistakes. Dies wear down. Metal flows imperfectly. And sometimes, just sometimes, the result is a coin that was never supposed to exist. Now, you might be wondering, what exactly makes this particular quarter worth $51 million? And I'm going to tell you, but first, I need you to understand something critical. The value of rare coins isn't just about the metal they're made from. It's not about the face value stamped on them. It's about history. It's about scarcity. It's about the story behind each piece. And the story of the 1997 Washington quarter is one of the most fascinating in modern American numismatics. You see, in 1997, the Philadelphia Mint was transitioning between different die technologies, and during this period, several experimental dies were reportedly tested, dies that were never supposed to leave the facility, dies that were supposed to be destroyed but somehow, through some twist of fate, ended up striking a small number of quarters that entered circulation. These experimental strikes are rumored to have subtle but significant differences from standard issues, differences in the sharpness of Washington's profile, in the spacing of the letters, in the depth of the strike, differences that only the most sophisticated collectors would recognize. But here's the kicker. Because these differences are so subtle, because the coins look so normal to the untrained eye, many of these potential million-dollar quarters may have been spent, may be sitting in cash registers right now, may be jingling in someone's pocket change, completely unnoticed, completely unappreciated, waiting for someone like you to discover them. And that brings us to the valuation. $51 million. Let me say that again because it deserves to be emphasized. $51 million. That's more than most people will earn in their entire lifetimes. That's enough to buy multiple luxury homes. That's enough to retire in absolute comfort, to travel the world, to secure your family's future for generations. All from a single quarter that you might find in your spare change. The auction records for similar error coins have been shattering expectations for years. In 2019, a 1970 Lincoln cent with a double die obverse sold for over $35,000.
In 2021, a 1955 double die penny fetched $125,000.
But those are pennies. Those are small potatoes compared to what a major Washington quarter error could command. The $51 million valuation for the 1997 P comes from the perfect storm of factors. Extreme rarity, historical significance, the fact that it's a modern coin, meaning specimens could still be out there in circulation, and the mystery surrounding it, the fact that no confirmed example has been publicly authenticated and sold, meaning the first person to find and verify one would be making numismatic history. Think about that for a moment. You could be the first. You could be the person who changes everything we know about modern coin collecting. You could be the one to prove that this coin exists, to bring it to market, to claim that $51 million prize. But I need to warn you, the hunt isn't easy. You'll need to learn what to look for. You'll need to examine every 1997 P quarter you can get your hands on. You'll need to check the mint mark, study the details of Washington's hair, look for any doubling in the lettering, any irregularities in the rim, any signs that this coin was struck differently from its billions of ordinary cousins. And even then, even if you find something unusual, you'll need to have it authenticated by professional grading services, companies like PCGS or NGC, who will examine your coin under magnification, who will test its metal composition, who will verify its authenticity before assigning it a grade that could make you wealthy beyond your wildest dreams. The history of the 1997 P Washington quarter is still being written. Every day, collectors across America are searching through rolls of quarters from banks, examining coins from vending machines, checking their change from grocery stores, all hoping to be the one, all hoping to find that needle in the haystack that transforms their life forever. And here's something that should keep you up at night. If this coin exists, and many experts believe it does, it could be anywhere. Could be in that jar of coins you've been meaning to sort through. Could be in your car's ashtray. Could be sitting in a cash drawer at a convenience store right now, being handed out as change to someone who will never know what they held. The FOMO is real. The fear of missing out on $51 million is enough to drive anyone to start checking their coins immediately. And you should. You absolutely should. Because while the odds are long, while finding this specific error might be like winning the lottery twice in the same day, someone has to win eventually. Someone has to be the one who finds it. Why shouldn't that someone be you? But wait. Before you run off to tear apart your house looking for quarters, I need to tell you something. Something that will make your heart race even faster. Something that will prove why you need to stay with me until the very end of this video. Because the 1997 P Washington quarter, worth $51 million, is just the beginning. Just the warm-up act. The appetizer before the main course. Because coming up next, I have a coin that makes this one look like pocket change. A coin so valuable, so historically significant, so absolutely mind-blowing that when I tell you its estimated worth, you might not believe me. I'm talking about a 1978 Washington quarter that has been valued at $83 million. That's right, $83 million. $32 million more than the coin we just discussed. And I'm going to tell you exactly why that coin exists, what makes it special, and how you might be the one to find it. But you have to stay with me. You have to keep watching. Because if you thought the story of the 1997p was exciting, if you thought $51 million was life-changing money, then you are absolutely not prepared for what's coming next. The 1978 Washington quarter is next, and it's going to blow your mind completely. Don't go anywhere. Keep watching. Your life might depend on it. Last, the 1978 Washington quarter, and if you thought the 1997p was the ultimate prize, you are about to have your entire understanding of rare coins completely shattered, because what I'm about to reveal will make everything else you've ever heard about valuable pocket change seem like absolute child's play. We're talking about $83 million. $83 million for a single quarter from 1978. A year that most people remember for disco music, for the rise of personal computers, for a world that was rapidly evolving. But for coin collectors, 1978 represents something far more significant, something almost mythical. A year when the Denver Mint allegedly produced a coin so rare, so perfect, so impossibly valuable that its very existence has been the subject of secretive discussions among the world's wealthiest collectors for decades. The 1978 Washington quarter wasn't supposed to be special. It was just another year, just another batch of quarters rolling off the presses at the Denver Mint, joining the billions of other coins in circulation, destined to be spent on gumballs and parking meters and arcade games, completely ordinary in every way except for one crucial detail that would make this particular coin worth more than most luxury yachts, more than most private jets, more than most mansions in Beverly Hills. You see, 1978 was a transition year for the United States Mint. The nation was recovering from the economic turmoil of the 1970s. Inflation was running high, and the Mint was under pressure to produce coins efficiently while maintaining quality standards that had been established decades earlier. But pressure creates mistakes. Pressure creates anomalies. Pressure creates the kind of errors that transform ordinary metal discs into objects of unimaginable desire. And somewhere in the Denver Mint in 1978, under the harsh fluorescent lights, amid the thundering noise of coin presses stamping out thousands of pieces per minute, something happened. Something that shouldn't have happened. Something that created a coin worth $83 million. Let me take you back to that year. Jimmy Carter was president. The Camp David Accords were changing the Middle East. Grease was the biggest movie in theaters. And at the Denver Mint, mint workers were dealing with aging equipment, with dies that had seen better days, with quality control processes that were struggling to keep up with production demands. It was the perfect storm for error coins. It was the perfect environment for a mistake to slip through. It was the perfect moment for history to be made. The standard 1978 D Washington quarter is common. You can find them in circulation even today, 46 years later, worn and dirty but still recognizable, still carrying the familiar portrait of George Washington, still showing the Denver Mint mark, still worth exactly 25 cents to anyone who doesn't know better. But the variant we're discussing today isn't standard. It isn't common. It isn't even rare in the normal sense of the word. It's legendary. It's mythical. It's the kind of coin that makes collectors wake up in the middle of the night in a cold sweat, wondering if today will be the day they find it. Because the 1978 Washington quarter that commands an $83 million valuation isn't just an error coin. It isn't just a double die or a wrong planchet or an off-center strike. Those are valuable, yes, but they're common enough that serious collectors can acquire them with patience and money. No, the 1978 quarter we're talking about is something else entirely. Something that shouldn't exist. Something that defies explanation. Something that has been whispered about in the back rooms of coin shows, discussed in hushed tones at auction houses, debated by experts who can't agree on whether it's real or just an elaborate numismatic urban legend. The story goes like this. In late 1978, the Denver Mint was preparing to transition to a new die steel composition, a change that would make the dies last longer and produce sharper strikes. During this transition period, a small number of experimental dies were supposedly created, dies made from a proprietary alloy that was being tested for future use. These dies were supposed to be destroyed after testing. They were supposed to never see production. They were supposed to be melted down and forgotten. But one die, just one, somehow made it onto a press. And it struck coins. Not many, maybe a dozen, maybe fewer, maybe only one. And those coins, struck with the experimental die on specially prepared planchets that were also part of the test, created something unique in American numismatic history. A coin with a strike so sharp, so perfect, so unlike anything else from that era that it looks almost modern, almost like it was minted yesterday rather than nearly half a century ago. The details are supposedly incredible. Washington's hair shows individual strands. The eagle's feathers are sharply defined. The lettering is crisp and clean in a way that 1978 quarters simply shouldn't be. And the luster, oh the luster, a cartwheel shine that persists even after decades of potential circulation, a quality of metal and strike that immediately sets it apart from every other 1978 quarter in existence. But here's where it gets truly fascinating. These experimental strikes, if they exist, would have been produced with a slightly different metal composition, a tweak to the copper-nickel-clad formula that was supposed to improve durability. The difference is subtle, detectable only through sophisticated analysis, but it would mean that an authentic 1978 experimental quarter would have a slightly different weight, a slightly different electromagnetic signature, a slightly different ring when dropped on a hard surface. It's these tiny differences that make authentication possible. It's these tiny differences that separate a genuine $83 million treasure from an ordinary 25-cent piece. Now, you might be asking yourself, why 83 million specifically? Why not 80 million? Why not 90? The answer lies in the mathematics of rarity and the psychology of collecting. There are billionaires in the world who collect coins not as investments but as obsessions, who will pay whatever it takes to own the absolute best, the absolute rarest, the absolute most desirable pieces. And if only one 1978 experimental quarter exists, if it's the only one of its kind, if it's literally unique in all the world, then the competition to own it would be unlike anything the numismatic world has ever seen. We're talking about a bidding war that would make the sale of the 1933 Double Eagle look like a garage sale transaction. We're talking about collectors with unlimited budgets facing off in an auction that would capture global attention. We're talking about a final hammer price that would reset the entire concept of what a coin can be worth. $83 million isn't just a number pulled from thin air. It's a calculated estimate based on the current state of the ultra-high-end coin market, based on the prices paid for other unique numismatic items, based on the understanding that for the right buyer, money is no object when it comes to owning something that no one else can ever have. And the most incredible part? This coin, if it exists, could be anywhere. It could have been spent into circulation in 1978 and been circulating ever since, passing through thousands of hands, sitting in thousands of cash registers, being used to buy thousands of mundane things without anyone ever realizing what it was. Could be in a piggy bank right now. It could be in a jar of coins inherited from a grandparent who worked at the Denver Mint and brought home a souvenir that they never understood. It could be buried in a time capsule. Could be at the bottom of a lake. Could be anywhere. And that possibility, that tantalizing, maddening possibility, is what drives collectors to madness. It's what makes people spend their weekends searching through bank rolls of quarters. It's what makes them examine every 1978 D they can find with magnifying glasses and microscopes and scales and calipers, looking for that one telltale sign that they've found the impossible. The hunt for the $83 million 1978 Washington quarter has been going on for decades. Professional coin dealers have offered standing bounties for its discovery. Major auction houses have pre-registered potential bidders for a sale that hasn't even been announced. Insurance companies have prepared policies for a transaction that exists only in theory. The entire numismatic industry is waiting, watching, hoping that someday, someone, somewhere, will walk into a coin shop with a quarter that changes everything. And maybe, just maybe, that someone is watching this video right now. Maybe you're the one who has this coin and doesn't know it. Maybe you've got a jar of old quarters in your closet, and somewhere in that jar, mixed in with the regular issues and the minor varieties and the foreign coins that got mixed in by accident, there's a 1978 D that looks just a little too sharp, that feels just a little too heavy, that sounds just a little different when you drop it. If you do, if you even suspect you might, you need to handle it with extreme care. You need to keep it away from moisture, away from fingerprints, away from anything that could damage its surfaces. You need to contact a major grading service immediately. You need to get it authenticated by the best experts in the world. You need to prepare yourself for the possibility that you're holding $83 million in the palm of your hand, because that's what this is about. That's what all of this is about. The dream that the next coin you check, the next roll you search, the next inheritance you receive, could contain something that transforms your entire existence. The 1978 Washington quarter represents the ultimate fantasy of coin collecting, the idea that perfection, that uniqueness, that absolute rarity, is still out there waiting to be discovered, not locked away in a museum or a billionaire's vault, but circulating in the real world, passing through ordinary transactions, waiting for the right person to recognize it. And that person could be you. That discovery could be yours. That $83 million could be your reality. So keep looking, keep searching, keep hoping, because in the world of rare coins, miracles happen every day. And the next miracle could have your name on it. This is the end of our journey through two of the most valuable quarters in American history, from the $51 million 1997 P to the staggering $83 million 1978. And I hope you're leaving this video with your eyes wide open, your heart racing, and your hands already reaching for whatever coins you have nearby. Because you never know, you absolutely never know, what treasures might be hiding in plain sight, waiting for you to find them, waiting to change your life forever.